Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to probably a shorter vlog. This idea has been floating around for a while and I've finally decided to do it. So basically, I have a pretty small TBR anyway. Like, this is like, not those two, but like this shelf and like down there, that's basically all my TBR. There's a couple more that I have on my like proper bookshelves at home, but those are mostly sequels to books that are already on here. So like, I have the third and fourth book also in the Great Coat series, but I haven't read the second one, so I didn't see the point in bringing it up here. I kind of pride myself on getting to the books that I buy pretty quickly. But last year, when I fell into my massive like life slump, I noticed that I like really was not gravitating towards books that I already owned on my TBR. And I think a big factor in that was the fact that a lot of these were really big books. The books that I love and give 5 stars are usually big books. But nothing was capturing my attention, and so like if I started a big book, I'd only get like 50 pages in, and that's not enough time for you to really get hooked in like a 600-page book. And so then I would stop reading it, and then I would read maybe something smaller and like quick. And then because I'm not the biggest fan of smaller books, it wouldn't be like a 5-star. And then I kept getting 3 and 4 stars, and so the slump continued, and then I didn't want to read big books, and then the slump. It was a vicious circle. A lot of the books that I read were books that I was like buying that month and then reading them straight away. So like I can think of like Caitlin Doughty, for example. Those were like small non-fictions about like death and all of that. And then also things like, you know, I was listening to audiobooks on SCRIBD or from my library. So yeah, so like I was not reading from my physical TBR. And so I've basically decided that I wanted to go back to my previous hauls and I wanted to read books from them. It took a while for me to actually get to the point of this video, didn't it? Anyway, so that's the point of this video, is I want to go back to my previous hauls from last year and the year before. So 2021 and 2022. I've read all of the books that I hauled in 2020. I'm trying to think, did I haul We Hunt the Flame in 2020? I'm going to go back to my bullet journals and also to my videos, and I'm going to double check because I'm pretty sure for this installment there's actually only one, kind of two, that I actually haven't read yet. Also forgot to mention that I'm doing this month by month, so I'm doing like January of 2021 and 2022 in one video, except for the fact because I hauled so little in the first few months of both of those years, I'm combining them all into this one video. Like, I actually don't think I hauled anything in April of last year. I'm not sure about 2021. So like, I don't think there'll be an edition of this in April, but in May there definitely will be, because May is my birthday month. And I have a lot of books on my TBR that I got for my birthday last year that I have not read yet because, as I said, life slump. Last year I hauled a lot more in January, but I still can't remember what I did. But I've read most of them. But the one book from January, I believe, of 2022 that I have not read yet is The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick, which is the sequel to The Mask of Mirrors. So I gave the first one 4 stars and I'm excited to continue this. And I actually did start it last night. I'm about 50 pages in. So we're definitely continuing this one. And then the book that may be in this vlog, I don't have with me. But it is The Bone Ship's Weight by R.J. Barker. And I think I hauled this in either January or February of last year because it was the first series for Cassidy's Backlist Book Club. And I remember this was the only book that was actually in my bookstore. So I was like, we're reading the entire trilogy. So I bought the 3rd book, not knowing I would absolutely despise this series. I bought that book full price, like 13 euros, and I have not read it. I have not even touched it, despite the fact we were supposed to have read it. I hated the second book so much that I kept putting it off. And then Cassidy basically messaged me, she was like, you're not going to read it, are you? And I was like, I will. And then she was like, if you don't want to read it, we're not going to do the live show, because me and Mel also hated it. And I was like, I'm free. I don't have to read this. And now I might have to read this. In fairness, I want to know what the ending is, because I know Mel and Cassidy literally hated the ending. But also, like, I'm gonna give it like 1 or 2 stars probably. But also, like, I paid 13 euro for it, and like, I've never bought a book and then like not read it. Like, I've only DNF'd 2 books ever. Which one was one was Insurgent by Veronica Roth, and that was fine because it was my sister's book, so I just gave it back to her. And then the other one was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and that was because life slump. And I started that book, I got about halfway into it, and then my library loan expired, and so then by the time I got it back, I'd kind of forgotten what happened, and I was like, okay, never mind. But like, I didn't pay for that because it was the library, whereas like this, I've paid money for this, so I'm like, I should at least try it. So I think I will try it in this vlog. I'll read maybe 100 pages if I have completely forgotten everything from the first two books. Like I think I remember some of what happened. If I've completely forgotten everything, I won't. And if I'm literally like hating every single moment, I also will stop. But even if there is like the smallest bit of happiness for me, I'll continue. But I kind of doubt it. I will see you all later. I realized I have not updated you. I'm like there. I'm like 60% for 391. I have like 630. And I'm really enjoying it. I think it might be a 5-star. But let's see. I don't even know why. I've realized that I'm kind of just giving up trying to figure out what kind of a reader I am, what I do and don't like in books, because I will have like a trope or just a plot device that will be in one book that I will love, and then it will be in another book and I will hate it. And so I've given up trying to figure out what my favorite books have in common and whether I'm a character driven or a plot reader. I just seem to change my mind depending on the day, because like I will read, like for example, this is such a slow paced, like incredibly, like overly descriptive world, like so incredibly detailed, incredibly slow. I do really enjoy the characters, but it took me a while. Like I didn't love them in the first book, but I have really grown to care for them in this book, and that's probably why it's feeling 5 stars, because I'm like, oh, I really love these characters now. But I'll read, so like I'm loving this, but like I'll read another book, like I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like I've read other like really slow, like I mean think of like classic fantasies, like really slow, incredibly like detailed world building, like to the point where it's like not even necessary. Like think like The Wheel of Time, like he describes literally everything, and like incredibly slow moving, and I hated that. Okay, I didn't hate it, I gave it like a 2.5. I do think I am a character driven reader a lot. I don't think adult books do characters as well as YA, and I don't just mean as in like lovable, because like yes, a lot of YA characters are like lovable, you want to root for them and all of that, but there is some like anti-heroes and all of that in YA that you still love and root for. And I feel like in adult books you're focusing on making a really complex world and having like really detailed conversations on, you know, all of these different themes, and so a lot of the time you don't really fully understand and love the characters. Like you don't like really like feel it in your soul that you're rooting for them, whereas with YA characters, like I'm thinking of like The Infernal Devices when I read it for the first time, even like The Raven Cycle, all of those things, and like you just like those characters, like you just want everything to work out for them so bad. I feel like the books that I do give 5 stars to are have characters that I really love and root for. I'm thinking Runa King's City of Brass. Well, I didn't give City of Brass 5 stars, I gave that 4 stars, but I gave this the second and third book 5 stars. I'm thinking A Darker Shade of Magic, Robin Hobb. Like I rooted for those characters, I felt for them, like they buried their way into my soul. Yeah, those were 5-star books for me. Those books, I do love the characters. That doesn't mean that I won't enjoy a book if the characters aren't like extremely lovable or root for them or anything like that. Like I'm looking at like other books, like I have a lot of 4 stars on my shelf, so I'm thinking like The Poppy War. I really enjoyed that series, but there was only like 1 or 2 characters that like really stood out to me, but I loved the politics, I loved the world, and so I gave it 4 stars. And I'm thinking like also other Robin Hobb books, like I didn't connect to the characters in the world and the live ships as much. So this is a weird tangent. What does that have to do with what I'm doing? But yeah, basically the point is I've given up trying to figure out why or why I won't like books. Like, purely vibes here. But I am really enjoying this. Like, I'm having such a good time. And, like, it took me so long to read the first book. Like, I started in like November, and then like I read like 100 pages, and then like I put it down, and then I started and then I continued in January, and then I read it, and like it took about like a week. Like, it is 600 pages, but it's extremely slow, and like I presumed that this would be the same, but like I started it on Wednesday. Wednesday, and then I got up to, I read like the first 50 pages on Wednesday. I read up to 215 yesterday, and then I read that chunk today. So yeah, I might try and finish it tomorrow. Let's pick out the last year's one. So 2022 books that I hauled in January, where The Rest of Us Just Live Here, but Patrick Ness, I gave that a 3. Yeah. The Liar's Not, Gym Reading. Mask of Mirrors, I gave 4 stars. My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies, I read that, I gave it 4. Howl's Moving Castle, that I bought after I had actually read it, because it was my favorite, one of my favorites of 2021. I gave that 5 stars, obviously. And then The Bone Ship's Wake, which we'll see if I read that. Yeah. February, I only hauled 1 book, which was The Bone Ships, and I read that, and I gave it 3 stars, a generous 3. March, I read, oh my god, I hauled so many books in March. Why did I buy so many books in March? I read them all. So I hope, yeah, I hold 12. Oh, never mind. I see why. I see. Okay, so Gallant, 5 stars. Poet X, that was again a favorite from 2021, 5 stars. Good Omens, I read November or December last year. I think December. I gave that 4 stars. Near the Bone, I gave 5 stars. Call of the Bone Ships, 1 star. Evercruel Kingdom, again, that was a book that I bought because it was a favorite of last year, of the previous year. I gave that 5 stars. Wicked As You Wish, I gave it 3 stars. And then I hauled the entire Heroes of Olympus series. So Lost Hero was a 4, no, 3. Son of Neptune was a 4. Mark of Athena was a 4. Haskell of Hades was a 4. And Blood of Olympus was a 3. Generous 3. I didn't haul it in, it was in April. Hello. So, decided just to do a bit more of an update. So, I'm on page 444. So, I should finish this today. And I'm really enjoying this. So, as I said yesterday, I am getting 5-star feelings from it, maybe, which is very exciting. First book in the series is The Mask of Mirrors, which I also hauled in January of last year. And this book, it's so hard because the way the synopsis is makes it sound like it's a lot more like intense and fast-paced than it actually is, when in reality it's very slow and very like political detail orientated. So anyway, also I just want to talk about how beautiful these covers are. Where's the second book? I mean, see, I can't hold the 2 of them up at the same time because I'm holding my phone in my hand. Look how beautiful these are. And they only, I think it was last month maybe, or a couple of weeks ago, they revealed the cover for the 3rd book, which comes out in August, which I'm so excited about. And it is also beautiful. I'll put it on the screen. And it's like purple. So the first book, it follows Ren, and she is a con artist. She grew up in the streets of this city, and she has come up with a plan to finally get her and her sister some wealth and fame and all of this, and that is to con her way into this noble house. As she tries to get her way into this noble house, she realizes that number 1, this noble house might be has its own issues, and that their city that they live in has more going on to it than you might first think. It's just her trying to figure out her way and trying to kind of play so many different people to navigate through this situation that she has gotten herself into. I had a really good time with this first book. I gave it 4 stars, and it was kind of like, because it was good. I liked it. The writing is brilliant in it. It is so incredibly detailed. Like, the thought and effort that they have put into every single aspect of this world is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, it is so impressive, and I do think that like it's definitely not a book or a series that is for everyone because of like the slow pace nature of it, and like so much of the story is just about like getting to know this world. It's like a really slow build up to the actual like plot and politics of it, and so I can understand why it's definitely not a thing for everyone. And when I read it, like, that's why I gave it 4 stars, was because there was only one character that I really liked. The rest I was like, I like them, but they're not anything special. I don't love them. I don't really connect to them. But the world was still impressive. The writing was good. And like the plot, while it was slow, and usually I do for a bit more fast paced, I was intrigued. And like there was never a time when I like wanted to just like not know what happened. Like I always wanted to know what was going to happen. But in this book, I like the characters, like they haven't undergone like huge amounts of change. Like yes, they have, but I think we're seeing more interactions between them. We're really starting to understand the backstory of some of these characters, and through that I have like really found myself like falling in love with these characters. Like I'm like concerned for their well-being, and like I'm on the edge of my seat when like bad things are happening. Somewhere out between in the start of this book, I really have fallen in love with these characters, which is why I'm getting the 5-star feeling. Because as I said yesterday, I think for me, like for a 5-star book, I do have to like love the characters. Like they don't have to be likable characters, but I have to be like, that was a damn good written character, you know? But for like a book to be a 4 stars, it doesn't actually have to have characters that I really love. And like the world is still like super impressive, the writing is still super good, and I am just like overall a lot more intrigued, and like I'm really just like flying through it more than I thought I would. Because in my wrap up in January, I think it was, when I read The Mask of Mirrors, I was like about it being very slow paced, and Maria, she said to me, you kind of like, just be aware the second book is like even slower start. I'm like, I think objectively that's true, but I flew through it way quicker because I just like, I really wanted to like see these characters on the same page again and all of that. So I think like, yes, objectively it's probably a bit slower, but it felt a lot faster to me. So yeah, I'm having such a good time. I'm having so much fun. Hello everyone, and I'm here to wrap up this vlog because yeah, I didn't forget about it, but I thought I had kind of finished it up. Well, I thought I had finished talking about this book, but I hadn't. And then I knew that I had to talk about The Bone Ship's Wake, which I don't have much to talk about when it comes to that. I read about 60 pages and then DNF'd it because I care about my mental health. I gave it a go, and like the thing is, I mean it really wasn't that much of the book. It is, I think it's about 550 pages. It is the 3rd book in the series. The series is the Tide Child trilogy. I read the 1st and 2nd for the Backlist Book Club. It was our first pick. It did not bode well, and I didn't really have as many of those problems while reading the first like 60 pages of the 3rd book. Like it wasn't annoying me as much. Like I still wasn't loving it obviously, but it was definitely actually like a little better. But I don't have the time or energy to put into it. Also Realmathon was like starting, and I was like, I'm not gonna power through this book when I could like easily read some books that I'm really excited for Realmathon. That's like the main problem, is I'm like, I don't really get the point. Because like I was reading it and I was just like, I don't care about the plot. Like I don't get what, like, because they keep saying what the end goal is, but like nothing that they're doing seems to actually be leading them towards that goal, if that makes any sense. And then I don't care about the characters. I've never cared about the characters, and I don't DNF books, but it's done. I gave it a go. The whole reason I wanted to try it was just so, number one, this vlog wouldn't be just me talking about one book, and number two, so I would also just be able to say, okay, I gave it a go because I actually paid money for that book. So I can now DNF it and be like, okay, I tried it. Now it can go out of my house. Never ended up finishing telling you about The Liar's Knot, but I don't really have much more to add, except like, yes, I did finish it. Yes, I did continue to love it. And yes, I did give it 5 stars. Yay! And I'm so excited for the 3rd book. So yeah, I just had such a good time. Like I just had such a good time. That is literally the only thing I can say. This is truly kind of a story that I love. I love super detailed world building. Like maybe some may say over the top world building. but I absolutely love it. The absolute detail, the thought that has gone into this, just every single aspect, not just the magic, not just like the royalty, like every single aspect. They have thought it through, and I just find it so impressive. And then I will say, yes, it is a very slow plot, but I flew through this book. Like, it did take me, I think, 3 or 4 days, because I just could not put it down, because I just loved the characters. Like, the plot is definitely not one that you're gonna be like, I have to know what happens next. Like, definitely towards the end, I would say it picks up, and you do really want to know, okay, what's going to happen next. But the first little bit isn't really that way. The first bit is really just about the characters, but because I love the characters and I love seeing them interact, I was just constantly reading because I wanted to get to the next scene where these characters would interact again. So I had such a fun time with this. I give it 5 stars, and I think the third book's coming out in August, so I will be eagerly awaiting. So yes, so that is the first edition of Reading My Past Book Hauls. So I do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you for another one in May, but also, like, I might post it in June, but either way, I'll be reading my past May book hauls, which May is going to be exciting because there's a lot of options. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.